Hi guys, welcome to Aqua Clear Water SA. It's been a while, I haven't been around for a while. But I'd just like to chat to you a little bit about my aquarium. I've had a bit of a disaster in the last 3 weeks or so. I've lost about 10 fish, 9 fish actually, and some of my favorite fish. I lost my 7-inch clown loaches. I lost another golden gourami, which was also a very impressive, not 9 inches, about 7 and 8 inches. I lost a lot of my flame tetras. I lost quite a few, and it baffled me a little bit. I wasn't too sure what was happening. I saw them swimming fine one day. They were all doing fine. There was nothing wrong. I did notice that some of my flame tetras, I've had them for a while, one or two of them were looking a little bit pale, and I could notice, they're on their way out. And they'll stick into one area, and some of them died, but I couldn't find them. Okay, now there starts a problem. I couldn't find them, so they were lying around somewhere. Okay, and then I found out that my clown loaches had died, my favorite fish, and I couldn't find one of them either. And because my plants are growing so rapidly, I couldn't find that. And eventually I found it, and it was rotting at the back of the tank. And all you saw was a few bones, and the fish had been picking on it. And that type of thing causes a huge ammonia spike. And I took that out. But you know what? I took out a fish, or I took all of them out once I got rid of them, but I investigated and I tried to look for signs of disease and whatever, and their scales are good. There was no redness around the gills. They had no fin rot. There was no dropsy. Playing one day and eating nicely, and all of a sudden they were dead. Did I gas them? I could have gassed them. I been having this DIY CO2 for a while. I was trying to do that for my black algae, or the black beard algae. It helped a bit. But what I did was I took the pipe and I put it into one of my filters, my power filters, and that drew out the carbon dioxide more, and it was spraying these thousands of tiny little bubbles into the water column. So that could have gassed him. It could have gassed him. I have a air system at the back, an air stone, which sends out a lot of oxygen, puts a lot of oxygen into my water, but it disturbs the top of the water, which does a lot of gaseous exchange. So there's always a lot of oxygen in my water. There's a lot of flow. As I talked about a while ago, my pumps are putting out a lot of water, so there's a lot of flow on the top and in the midsection, so there's not a problem with that. But yeah, I was bitten in the backside, as you can see. I was slapped in the face because these things happen. This is a very sensitive environment. It's not like goldfish, koi fish, indigenous fish, which are very hardy, guys. Cold water fish are hardier. These tropical fish are temperamental, and if you look after them and if things go well, it runs fine. But let something go wrong, and then all of a sudden there's a problem. So it could have been an ammonia spike, or could have been through the too much carbon dioxide. I don't know. It's not that they died at night. It's not that I saw them sucking for air at the top during the day. Some of them died in the day. Some may have died at night. I don't know. But so I down to about 10 now. 10 fish, and I'm just going to keep it as that because I don't need to add any more right now. But I've been speaking about watching, being careful. It happens to the most professional. Fish we lose. Fish die anyway in the wild, but we don't wash our hands. If we don't wash our hands, if we've been working with chemicals, we put it into our water column. The fish can die off very quickly. They can become very sensitive. The immune systems aren't as good as land animals. It's a completely different ecosystem. It's water, and we're dealing with water, and we're dealing with different bacteria. So that's one thing we've got to do, is we've got to keep our pumps moving. We've got to keep them clean, but not over cleaning, as I said before. You've got to keep that bacteria still in that media. We can't wash everything squeaky clean, and especially we can't wash media with chlorinated water. Our water that we get here through our taps is chlorinated, but it has ammonia in it as well. And chlorine, if it travels a distance, most of it evaporates. And our Bol Dam is about 75 kilometers from where I stay. So it's got to travel through these pipes, and that evaporates. And so what they do is they put ammonia with it. I've seen it. It's these huge tanks which they monitor, and if too much is put in, these little alarms go off, and there's these labs that the guys are there monitoring the ammonia that they're putting into the water. And the ammonia binds the chlorine, and the chlorine comes through, and it travels at many distances to different towns. And so it just holds chlorine. That's why we have ammonia. So we have ammonia in our water anyway. I've got a source that I get, and it's a borehole source. So I get about 20 liters of that, and I put in when I do a water change. Now, this is what I'm doing now, and with a little bit of extra water. So that borehole water has no ammonia, no chemicals, nothing in it. It's just pure water. Obviously, there's some minerals. It's not very nice to drink because you can taste it. It's got these minerals in it. But what's nice is I got my glass, guys, 10 mils thick, and it's about 235 centimeters long, which is just over 7 foot. 56 centimeters wide, 56 centimeters high, and I'm going to be building this, but very slowly. I'm going to build a stand inside. It's got to be flat. You got to make sure your stand is flat on top. If it has a little kink in it, the glass can crack and it'll break, no matter how you reinforce it. So it's got to be flat. I'm still thinking of what to put underneath, the old-fashioned polystyrene, or am I going to find some other type of foam or whatever to put on the top, just to help it level itself out, because this is going to hold over 1,000 liters of water, and the glass by itself is heavy, and then I'm going to put in some hardscape with rocks and things like that. So it's something I've got to research and be very careful of what I'm going to be doing. And then I'm going to transfer these plants, which are growing nice and wild. I'm going to transfer those into my new tank. I'm going to let it cycle. I'm going to take some of these rocks out, some of my media that has bacteria already in it. So the nitrification process will start off very quickly. I'm going to let it run for at least 3 weeks before I start adding fish, maybe even 4 weeks before I start adding fish. Make sure that it's running well, and that the bacteria is going to break down that ammonia. I'm going to have enough flow, and I'm not going to have this ammonia spike again unless one of my filters go. And that is a big problem. One of your filters go, or your filter goes, and you have an ammonia spike. But you do know that all of our media inside, or our hardscape, our rocks and our sand and our gravel, our glass, holds that bacteria anyway. So that also helps break down. That is a huge part of our ecosystem that goes inside here. So anyway, guys, thank you for joining, and please subscribe and hit the like button, and we'll see you next week. Bye. Keep well.